Hey guys, happy Friday afternoon. Actually, it's not afternoon yet, it's getting close to noon. It's 11:38. It just feels like it because I've been up since 2:30 in the morning. Just left the landfill, made a run in there, had a nice easy run. There wasn't any real big delays on anything, so we got in and got out. And I decided I thought I'd make a little video on the way back up to Rimrock, some of the drive home. I haven't done one of these in a while, just for maybe new people who haven't really seen what it looks like going through down here parts of Phoenix and parts of southern and central Arizona as we drive up I-17. So we'll give a little look at that, and I'll just be popping the video on and off as we go along different spots. I won't video the whole thing. That's about an hour and 45-minute drive back up to Rimrock. Nobody wants to see an hour and 45 minutes of driving on the highway. Plus, I don't have that much battery with me. So anyway, we're on a little road here called Deer Valley Road in Surprise, Arizona, and this is where the landfill is. Just about 3 miles back there behind me. We come out onto the one of the big crossroads of the Phoenix area, which is called Grand Avenue, and we go down there for a couple of miles, and then we jump onto the 303 highway northbound, and that takes us up. We make another cut across at Lake Pleasant Parkway, then onto New River Road, and then back onto I-17 northbound for the remainder of our journey. And out here there are a ton, I don't know how well it'll show up on the camera, but there are a ton of houses out here and lots of new construction going on all the time. They are just it's amazing. You never stop building down here, and they always are complaining about not having enough water and not having enough land. And then these folks, I hope their real estate people told them, you're close to an area where this big landfill is. The landfill's about 3 miles away right now, but that landfill owns a tremendous amount of this property out here on the right. And so it's going to expand over the years and going to get closer and closer to where those houses are being built. So maybe they know that, maybe they don't, I don't know. Well, we're coming up on Grand Avenue right here. This road can be a pain in the neck to get into. Sometimes there's tons and tons of traffic just non-stop, and sometimes you get a great big gap and it makes it pretty easy. Oh, looks like we'll have a gap. There's a few cars coming. Those guys are over in the left-hand lane, so after this little white car I can start easing out. As long as I stay in my lane, I'll be all right. There's a big pothole on the right side back there that I just missed with the trailer. I usually like to swing out a little wider into that left lane first to make sure my trailer stays out of that hole, but couldn't do that this time. And so I think I skinned over the top with my outside dual tire out there. It was hovering. The inside one missed the hole, was right on the edge of it. Oh, got a guy loading horses down here. I'm sure that's fun to have to do on the side of the highway. There's the oh, we get past this light right here, and then everybody is trying to funnel over to the right to either go southbound 303 or to get in the right-hand lane so when they cross under the bridge, they're ready to go onto the northbound 303. But because of all the truck traffic on this road, you just have to pretty much expect and be prepared for the fact that people are gonna stay in that left lane absolutely as long as they can, and then they will try to dive in between two trucks or a truck and a car, or just cut right in front of you, whatever it takes to try to get over to go right. So there's just no point in being in a hurry. You don't want to be an aggressive driver right here. You want to be prepared for the fact that people are going to do that, and just deal with it. It's a little bit easier for me right now because I have an empty trailer, so I'm a light load and I can stop a bit quicker than when I'm loaded, but I just leave room. This guy in the brown truck is probably going to try to cut over. Saw him looking. Oh, maybe he's not going to. Make a liar out of me. But leave room. People want to cut over, they're going to cut over no matter what. It's better to have room when they do it, because people don't seem to grasp how dangerous it is to pull in front of a semi-truck and just jump on your brakes and start slowing down. Both of them are going to go on the 303 south, so I stay out in this side a little bit longer, and then I get over where I need to be. Dusty brakes, they're squeaking. It's a nice truck, pretty color. I like that kind of chocolate caramel color. So the 303 north and southbound, that's that overpass right there in front of us. I would turn right here if I was going south. If I was going to be making a run down to the White Tank transfer station, that's the way I would go. It's about 25 miles down south. But I'm not going that way. I'm heading back north. So the sign for the 303 north right here, that's where I'm going. After all that preparation about people going to cut over in front of you and all that, nobody did. Made it through there. That's like the first time I ever made it through there without 3 or 4 people cutting in front of me. But that figures. All right, let's see what the traffic looks like. The off-ramp right here is very busy. Grand Avenue is a really busy road. A lot of people get off at Grand. Get on to the 303 right here. I have a long approach lane right here, so if I need to, I have plenty of room to build up speed, but there is nobody coming in this right-hand lane here, so I'm going to move over and call it good. That's where I want to be anyway. So I'll turn this back on in just a little bit as I get a little farther up the road, guys. Alrighty guys, we are almost to the end of our little trip here on the northbound 303. We're about to make our exit onto Lake Pleasant Parkway. Just about 3/4 of a mile ahead of us right here. That takes a little short trip, maybe 4 miles across that over to New River Road, and then that's about 12 miles or something over to I-17. But this is a pretty spot down here. We just left Surprise. I'm not sure even what city limits we're in right here. This could be part of Peoria or still part of Surprise, but it's just wide open desert out here. Saguaro cactus, cholla cactus, a lot of open grazing land. So this part hasn't been developed yet. Eventually, I'm sure it will, but so far it's just still wide open. Pretty down here. This is a beautiful part of the state, and Phoenix is big, but it's not horrible as far as big cities go. The difficult part is the heat for a lot of people. It does get really, really hot in the summer. 120 degrees is not out of the question. 115 is pretty regular. But the traffic in Phoenix, some of the neighborhoods are really nice. There's beautiful places to live and all that, but if you work down here, chances are you don't live right close to where you work. You live on the other side of town. It just seems to be the way it works. And most people that I know that are down here in Phoenix have an hour and a half commute. They have an hour and a half commute to go, 15 or 20 miles every day, both ways. I mean, the traffic can be really bad at rush hour time down here. You come down through here in the middle of the day on the weekends and stuff, it's not bad at all. But just day-to-day traffic, people going to and from work, it is miserable. I would hate that. I am super fortunate. My longest commute is when I leave my house and I go to Rimrock to do this job that I'm doing right now. It takes me just about 30 minutes from my house to the yard where the truck is. My main job, my full-time job with a company called Mold In Graphics, that is, I'm not kidding you guys, it is a minute and a half away from my house. My truck warms up longer than it takes to drive there. And so that is really nice. I mean, that is a rare thing in the world to live that close to where you work. But I really enjoy it. I love the little town that I live in. It's small. It's truly a community. Everybody knows everybody. It's just a little sleepy town. It kind of reminds me of Mayberry from the Andy Griffith Show, for those of you who are old enough to remember that. But anyway, it's very different down here in Phoenix. I would not want to live down here. The commuting would just be horrible. You'd put on so many miles on your vehicle every year and so much time spent in traffic, it'd just be miserable. You're talking about an extra 3 hours a day just for travel time to go to your work, even when it's only 15 or 20 miles away. I just don't know how those people do it. Alrighty, well, I will cut this off. We're about to get to the turnoff where we go over to New River Road, and I'll turn it back on when we get over there a little bit. Alrighty, here's the turn onto New River Road. This can get a little dicey when there's people sitting there waiting. I really need to swing wide on this, but I can't with them sitting there. I have to go slow, watch my trailer, not drop it off in the ditch. All right. So off here on the right, this is desert land, and I think it might be called state trust land, or it may be actually part of the one of the national forests down here, but it's open to camping to the public. As you can see, there's a lot of people camping out there. All out here in the desert, they're just trailers and stuff. The weather's getting nice again, so these guys will start popping up down here, and you can stay, I believe the limit is 14 days in one spot. You can stay there, and then you have to move, and then you can stay 14 days in another spot. I think they do that because if you allowed somebody to camp in the same spot for real extended periods of time, they might try to claim squatters' rights on that land. And some of the laws in Arizona still allow that. So, but this place will be real popular for another couple of months, and then it's going to get really hot down here, and this place is going to clear out. You're not going to have too many people camping down here in the desert when it's hot like that. It is miserable. There's no shade. If you don't have a nice generator and lots of fuel to run air conditioners and stuff, it is just almost impossible to stay down here in a trailer. There are lots of them. It's a pretty place to camp if you have off-road vehicles like Razors or Jeeps or quads, something like that. There's a lot of good riding trails around here. Over this direction, a few miles as the crow flies, is Lake Pleasant, and it's probably, I don't know, a 5 or 10 mile drive back down that other road to get over there. But Lake Pleasant's pretty nice. It's a very popular spot in the summer down here. A lot of boating, a lot of fishing. It's just a nice area. So if you were camping down here and you had kayaks or something like that, or you had a power boat or whatever, go over there to Lake Pleasant, spend the day. There are a lot of outdoor activities, outdoor recreation things available in Arizona. It's a big state with a lot of open country, so there's a lot to do down here. All right, we're almost to the end of New River Road, so we're coming into the little community of New River. Some houses over here, they're scattered around. There's actually some really nice houses down here. I think you can get in this area relatively inexpensively compared to other parts of southern Arizona. Some parts are pretty expensive. Some parts down in Phoenix are really expensive. Well, they got some construction going on. This has been going on for a few months down here. And we're going to turn left right here to get on northbound I-17. A lot of this big equipment is for, as we get up here, you'll see there's a big construction project going on I-17. I don't know what, I'm not exactly sure. Part of it I've heard is they're adding what's called a dual purpose lane in the middle, in the median part of the highway. I-17 is a divided highway, 2 lanes going north and 2 lanes going south. And I guess the idea is they add a multi-use lane in the middle, and depending on the traffic, if it's real heavy traffic flow going north, they open up that middle lane to ease traffic northbound, and vice versa. If it's real heavy coming south, they open it up going the other direction. What they do when the traffic's real heavy going both ways, I don't know. That's not super common, but it does happen. There may be a little section up here that they're going to do adding basically 3 lanes going each direction, but I think the majority of it is just that, what they call that multi-use lane. So it's one way or one lane, and it can get used both ways. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. It's supposed to be about a 4.5-year project, and they have just been really cranking the last 8 months or so. So they have a long way to go yet. A lot to do. So it will be interesting over the next few years to watch that evolve and grow and see how it comes together. This is still part of New River down here. There isn't really a river here. There's a creek bed that runs sometimes in the spring when there's snow melt up north, or when we get a good rain, but most of the time it's dry. Some of these people have some really pretty views. They got houses up high on the cliffs. And wouldn't be a bad spot if you maybe were retired or something and you didn't have to worry about commuting into Phoenix very often. Ah, that beeping, that's my distance alert warning saying I'm too close to the car in front of me. I think I've got plenty of room, but the truck doesn't agree. These guys in this lane, that yellow truck up there, that's a construction vehicle, and they're just putting along here about 60 miles an hour. And I got traffic coming on my left, so I gotta wait till I get an opening, and then I can try to pass those guys. But as far as I can see back in my rearview mirrors, I don't have any openings coming for a while, so I just better enjoy the drive. Okay, we are a little further north. We're still chugging along. It's been about 50 minutes or so since we left the landfill. We're coming up on a place called Rock Springs, and then a little beyond that is Black Canyon City. If we've got off on this exit right here, you can go to both places, and there's another exit further up for Black Canyon City. Rock Springs is just this little place over here on the left. You can kind of see them over there. It's a little trading post, tourist shop, and they have a restaurant there. It's actually a pretty good restaurant, and they have really good pie. They're known throughout the state for their pie. Black Canyon City is just a little town, no real industry or anything there. It's pretty much just residential. They have a few basic necessities, you know, like a hardware store and an auto parts store and stuff like that, but pretty small. A lot of homes built up in the hills. Then there's a truck yard down here. This yard, I think, was erected temporarily as part of this big construction project. So they'll be using that area for quite a while, for the next several years anyway. After Black Canyon City, we get on the big hill. There's a grade up here called Black Canyon Grade, and it's about an 8 or a 9 mile climb. Pretty steep, and with traffic like it is right now, it's going to be slow. There's always some really slow trucks. Heavy trucks over 26,000 pounds are supposed to stay in the right lane, but the way I understand the rules, as long as you're not impeding traffic, you can pass another vehicle. You know, if I'm going along here and I'm empty and I can go up this hill at 60 miles an hour, and I come up behind a truck that's loaded and he's going 20, I don't have to stay behind him and go 20 all the way up the hill. I can pass him, but I need to do it quick, and I need to not impede the traffic behind me, which can be difficult. When the traffic's thick, there's almost no way not to impede somebody for a little bit. But as long as you're moving along and you get around them quick and you get back over, it's not too big of a deal. And I've seen trucks do that right in front of a DPS highway patrolman or a DOT officer, and they didn't pull them over for it, so I guess it's okay. And I do it. I mean, all the truck drivers going up this hill do it. If you've got up a good head of steam and you're coming up on somebody real slow and you have the room, go ahead and pass them, but just get it over with quick. If he's going 21 and I'm going 21 and a half, I'm not going to try to pass him, because it'll take me 3 minutes to get around him, and I'll have a big old backup behind me if I do that. Alright, so here's one of those situations. Coming up on some slow traffic up ahead of me, but both lanes are going to slow down pretty bad up here, it looks like. And that could be because there's another truck trying to pass and he's going real slow in the passing lane. Sometimes people, just for no reason, when they go around a slow vehicle, a slow truck in particular, they slow way down when they do it. And I don't know why they do that, but they do, and so that'll back up this left-hand lane. See, I don't see any big trucks in the left lane up ahead, And yet these cars are all going real slow around these semi trucks. They don't need to do that. But I can't pull out right here. There's traffic coming behind me, so I'm not going to try to pull out into that lane. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 semi trucks in front of me going real slow, so that would take me a little while to get around them. So we're just going to slow down and enjoy the scenery. If I had a gap, a big gap in the traffic over here on my left, I would probably go ahead, because now we're on a part that's not quite so steep. I could accelerate pretty well on this little part and get around those guys, but there's too many cars coming. And if I cut out right there, they're all going to have to really slow down fast coming up behind me. I don't want to do that. That's all right. I'm not in a big rush. This is my last run, heading home. It's only 12:30. I'll be back to the yard probably before 1:30, certainly before 1:30. So it's still not going to be too long of a day. Not bad. "44 miles an hour" we are screaming up the hill. Got a little car right on my tail back there. Traffic going north. It's nice weather. It's going to be a nice weekend, so a lot of people want to head up to the North Country and enjoy the forest. They still have some snow up in Flagstaff, out in the forest, and there's a ski area in Flagstaff, so some of these guys may be going skiing. I don't know. Okay, well, we were stuck in that line of traffic all the way to the top of the hill. Now we finally got up on the flats, and I got a little break and was able to pull out, and now I can get around all these guys. And we're back up to a reasonable speed again, 66 now, 67. I've got my cruise set at 69, and that's a comfortable speed going back north, not being in a hurry. The truck will go a little faster than that, but not much. And if I'm going a little faster than that, I catch up to a lot of these trucks, and then I got to deal with passing them, and I'd rather not do that. It's a lot easier to just be going about a mile an hour slower than all of them and let them pass me. These guys are going real slow, so I am going to go ahead and get around them, but I'll get up here ahead of these trucks and get over in the right lane and enjoy the rest of the drive. Well, this part of the road is rough. A lot of potholes, and it's all chewed up from all the trucks. Alright, I need a little more room around this guy, and then I can pull over and let traffic behind me go by. I think I'm clear of him now. Alright. I may catch up to this guy, but there were some cars right behind me that needed to get by. Only one guy right here. Truck pulling a trailer, so I'm going to go out behind him. Got another gap. Get around this guy. He must have a heavy load. This little hill's slowing him down. And we'll get back over in the right again. Get out of the way. We lost a little bit of speed going up that hill. Now we're down to 61, 62. Start picking up again right here. Again, I've got my cruise set at 69, and that's where I'm going to leave it. Just let it sort of cruise along. There'll be a few vehicles going slower than that, but not nearly as many as if I get it up over 70. I start coming upon a lot of vehicles that are just going like 69 and a half, right at 70. I have to slow down, and then I have to deal with trying to find a gap in traffic to pass them. I'm just not in that much of a hurry. I'd rather not. Part of the construction program they've got going here, they had to close the Sunset Point rest area. I guess they're renovating that too. That may be part of the same project. It may be one that's just going on at the same time. They still have it open for truckers to pull in there, and I think that's more for a place to pull over and sleep during the night. It's got a big parking area, but I think a lot of the facilities are closed. They might have some porta-johns in there, but I think all the bathrooms are closed, being renovated. So they've created a temporary rest area over here. This exit is called Badger Springs Road, and you can pull down there. This is only for passenger cars, so semi-trucks aren't supposed to go in there. There's not enough room to get in there and turn around. You'd get in there and you'd be stuck. But they have a bunch of porta-johns and so a couple of nice little air-conditioned buildings, I think, little portable trailer buildings. So I'm not sure what exactly they have there. I haven't ever stopped, but if you need it, there's a place to stop and go to the bathroom, stretch your legs, whatever. So I don't know if you can see it in the rearview mirror there. I've got a gap beside me right now, but then back behind me, it's just an endless line of cars back there coming in both lanes. And that all happens when they come up that big hill. They get all bunched up, and then it takes a while for them to spread back out again. We are now approaching Cordes Junction. That's what we all know it here in Arizona. We know it as Cordes Junction. It's actually the Cordes Lakes Road exit 60 on Highway 69 northbound. A little community out here called Cordes Lakes. Again, one of those places like New River. There's no river in New River. There's no lakes in Cordes Lakes. So that's what they call it. So anyway, it's a small place. There's a pilot truck stop, couple of gas stations, McDonald's. There's probably I think there's a Subway and a Taco Bell maybe over here. So it gets used a lot. People traveling, it's a place to stop and get fuel, get food, whatever. And it's about 35 to 40 minutes from here back to our yard at Rimrock. Now there's an on-ramp right on the other side of this overpass that I'll have to watch to make sure there's nobody coming down that gonna get in my way. And I got traffic on my left, so I can't move over. Luckily there's nobody coming down the on-ramp right now, so that's fine. I can stay right here. There's a crappy part of the road right here. I have to straddle this. They've tried to repave all these spots in the road, but they're still like potholes if you hit them. Real bouncy. We're getting up into the high desert now. A little higher elevation. Probably 3,000, 4,000 feet in elevation up here. So there's no more saguaro cactus this far north. They can't survive up here. It's too cold for them. We do have prickly pear cactus out here and a lot of mesquite bushes, and then just a lot of grasses and weeds and stuff like that. A lot of open country up here. This is not, I think this is all part of the national forest up here. And it looks pretty dry and barren in the wintertime, but it's pretty and green up here during the spring and summer. We are now starting down Copper Canyon. Copper Canyon is a pretty good descent that goes down into Camp Verde. I have to come up this in the morning, and on my second run loaded, when I leave Rimrock, I have to climb up this hill, and I only can do about 35 miles an hour usually. So going down empty is a lot different. Still have to be really paying attention, looking far ahead. I've still got my cruise control set, and the engine brake is on the high position on the truck right now, so it's going to hold me back really well. Not going to let it just run away down the hill. Just have to be looking far ahead, because even though I'm light going downhill, there's a lot more momentum, and it definitely makes it harder to stop even though I'm empty. So I need to be watching way up the road, make sure nobody does anything crazy up there. There's no accidents, or truck in front of me isn't going a lot slower than I think. He's definitely going slower than I am. There's a couple of cars coming up behind me, and I need to let them get by, and then I'll be able to go around that truck. I'm going to slow down a little bit here. I don't want to get too close to him. This car is going to go around me, and then I'm going to move out, and I'll go around this truck. And that car is just slowly pulling away from me. He's going a little faster than I am. I'm not accelerating, I just kind of have letting the truck just run down the hill. It's actually trying to slow down a little bit because of the engine brake. Cruise control is turned off now since I slowed down. If you were ever in the unfortunate situation of being in a runaway truck, right here on the left is the runaway truck ramp. A long gradual uphill of real soft sand and gravel. And if your truck's running away and you can't stop it, you pull up, you go in there, and it's sort of a controlled crash is what it is, but it'll get you stopped pretty safely, and usually you don't get hurt. Tears your truck up a little bit, but better than the alternative. I'm sure we've all seen the story in the news about that guy in Colorado that went down a big grade, lost his brakes, lost control of his truck, and bypassed 2 runaway truck ramps, and ended up killing a whole bunch of people at the bottom of the hill. Traffic was stopped for construction or an accident or something, and he ran through a whole bunch of them. When in doubt, take that emergency ramp. All right, turn the cruise control back on. Probably doesn't show up on the camera very well, but way up there is the San Francisco Peaks. That's the highest point in Arizona. That's up at Flagstaff. That's where the ski area is, and they have a lot of snow on them right now. The top of the tall one, I think, is about 12,600 or 12,700 feet. Flagstaff is about 7,000 to 7,200 feet in elevation. It's 59 down here right now. It's probably 39 in Flagstaff. So Camp Verde, little town, community down here. There's an old fort there, Fort Verde. Verde means green in Spanish, and the Verde River runs right through here. It's actually pronounced Verde, but all of us gringos say Verde. So you would get off the exit here. If you want to go left, you go to Cottonwood. You go right, you go into Camp Verde. And if you go all the way through Camp Verde and follow up the highway, up the Zane Grain Highway, you can go up to Payson and Pine and Strawberry and up there. Camp Verde's real spread out. There's a lot of ranches, cattle ranches, a lot of cowboys at Camp Verde. That's their mascot, actually, the high school, Camp Verde Cowboy. Alright, another on-ramp on my right, and there's definitely some cars coming down it, so I'm going to let this... I'm going to fall right in the gap, so it's almost perfect. I'm just going to stay where I am. I could move over to the left if there was a lot of cars on my right here, but I don't need to. Worked out well. Usually if there's no traffic on my left, as I'm coming down under that overpass, I just move over and just anticipate. There's almost always cars coming in on that on-ramp. It just makes it easier for everybody if I just move over. So we're still, I think, technically in part of Camp Verde, but this is called Middle Verde. There's a community over on the left that's part of the Yavapai Apache Indian Reservation, and that extends part way over here on the right as well. And they have a casino up here. The Cliff Castle Casino is just right here off the highway, and then just beyond Cliff Castle you're back into Camp Verde again. So it's not real clear to me where the boundaries of the reservation versus the city is, but it's right in here somewhere. I got a motorhome and another car coming in on my right, so I'm going to go ahead and move over. I've got room. That guy's doing a slow merge. I'll move back over, but I'm probably going to have to move left again. That truck up in front of me looks like he's going pretty slow. Car coming on my left, and I think I can... I'll let him get around me before I try to pass this guy. Yellow freight. Now we're coming into a little area down here called, getting close to a place called Rimrock. And Rimrock, McGuireville, Montezuma's Well, all those things are right in here. Rimrock is where our yard is, so I'm almost back to the yard now. Montezuma's Well is a big tourist attraction, Indian ruin, and it's down inside of a big sinkhole, and then there's cliff dwellings built up in the side of the rocks above the sinkhole. It's a really pretty impressive place. If you ever up this way in Arizona and you get a chance to stop by there, it's worth it. Here's my exit, McGuireville, Montezuma Well, exit 293. And I'll be turning left, go across the overpass. There is a river down here, part of Oak Creek. got some traffic coming on our left. We got to wait for them. The sheriff's sitting right there in the median. I don't know if he's waiting for somebody specific or just kind of an odd spot for them to be parked, unless he's looking for a specific vehicle. Not a lot of speeders going around this corner. Almost back to the yard. Just up here around the corner, about a half a mile. El Patio Mexican Restaurant. That's a good restaurant right there. That whistle is my phone keeps going off. Somebody's texting me, but obviously I'm not going to be looking at that while I'm driving. I'll have to check it out when I get back to the yard. So up here where our yard is, it's kind of an industrial complex. There's a rock yard, there's a wrecking yard, there's a company up here I think that does drilling, well drilling, all kinds of stuff, but it's almost all industrial back up here. And this is where our transfer station is, our yard for our trucks, and the Rimrock transfer station. So we do get the public coming in here to dump. We got our own trucks, Patriot Waste, we've got Waste Management, Taylor Waste. A lot of the residential service trucks come up here and they dump their trash here at our transfer station. Then it gets loaded into these trucks, into these trailers, and then our drivers here for I-Haul, Independence Haul, we haul it down to the big landfill in Phoenix. So we are back at the yard. Trucks that come in that are going to dump here, they go on the scale right here, get weighed so we know how much they dumped. Now I got to find a parking place. I think I can fit in that one gap right there in the middle. Yeah, there's room in here. Drop off this trailer, do my post-trip checkout on the truck, and I will be out of here. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the ride, little tour of Arizona, coming northbound out of Phoenix, or out of Surprise. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully there's a lot more good stuff coming when I get my little dump trailer and start my own little side hustle. I'll be making videos of that too. So anyway, thanks again guys, have a great weekend, and I will catch you later.